Hello everybody, today we are going to be going over the Rearrange the Room PSD project. Once you have your file downloaded on your desktop, let's go ahead and click and drag that into the Photo P workspace. And you will notice that once we open up our file, it is going to look like this, which is quite a mess. So we need to start organizing this room. We want to put all the books on the bookshelf, and we would just want to get it feeling a lot less cluttered and put everything where it needs to go. So imagine that this room is your room and you need to clean it up. What we're going to be doing today is doing just that. To get started, what you're going to want to do is turn all of your eyeball icons off for all of your layers, and that way we will be able to start with a good foundation with our side table, our sofa chair, and our bookshelf and our background. So you want to make sure you leave your bookshelf, sofa chair, and side table layer visible, so we'll start there. Next, we want to begin with our layer 1, which is our background layer. Let's go ahead and select that layer, and then we're going to lock it. That way we don't accidentally move it throughout the process. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our Move tool, which is in the top left-hand section in our window here on the top of our toolbar. You can also press V for the quick key command there. Once you have your Move tool selected, you want to be sure you have Auto Select and Transform Controls selected. So if you just have these gray boxes here, be sure that you click those so you have the blue and the gray check marks. Once you have your Auto Select and Transform Controls selected, you're then going to start by evenly distributing our bookshelf and our chair and our side table so we have a good place to start. Now feel free to play around with some of the layers. If I want to make my table a little bit smaller, I'm going to hold Shift on my keyboard and bring that down. That way it keeps it in the same proportions. Now if I don't hold Shift, it's going to start stretching things out, and we don't want that. So we always want to make sure that we're holding Shift and dragging from our corners to make sure that the proportions are staying the same. Okay. So with the bookshelf here, you want to make sure that you are keeping the same proportions and not moving that because if you end up squishing it, then your books aren't going to fit on your shelf properly. Now feel free to play around with some of the layering. Now notice how my chair is behind my table. Let's say I want my table to be behind my chair. I can simply just drag my sofa layer down behind my chair layers, or move my chair layer up in front of my table layer. Now, once you have all of your objects in place and where you want them and the size you want them, be sure that before you move on to the next one, that you lock your layers in place. That way you don't accidentally rearrange those later on as our room starts to get more filled up. Now, again, as you start adding these, you will have to be selecting them to make sure that you have the, you'll have to, be resizing them to make sure that they fit in the composition. Like this coffee cup is just a little too big, so you will end up having to shrink some of these things down to make them fit. Okay. Now make sure that all of your books are on your bookshelf, and making sure that everything has an appropriate place before you move on to the next one.